Om Dakshinasya Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Smarya Guru Parampara Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaran Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Pariknyanashrama Shri Guru Shankara Pariknyanashrama Shankara Satguru Keshava Vamana Krishna Panduranga Ananda Pariknyana Guru Satyo Jata Shankara Satguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Athato bhaktim vyakhyasyaamaha satu asmin parapremas rupa. So this is the second sutra in which we were. Satu asmin parama prema rupa. Satu asmin parama prema rupa or parama prema swarupa also is one of the readings that is given. Now we said, the first verse said, Narada in Bhagavatam, whatever, whether it is attributed to Narada, whether it is really written by him or not, we don't know. Anyway, Narada being a bhakta par excellence, I think these verses attributed to Narada are fine, are good enough. There is no problem at all. Now, what he's saying is, ataha bhakti vyakyasyamaha, bhaktim vyakyasyamaha. So, I'm going to give details of, or I'm going to talk about bhakti, not I. We are going to talk about bhakti. And I said, whenever any Granthakara writes something which talks about what has been taught by the entire parampara before him, by the entire Guru Parampara, the term we is used. Bhaktim vyakyasyamaha. Atha. Atha means now, idanim, from now. Ataha, therefore. Bhaktim vyakyasyamaha. Atha, we said, means what? Arambharte atha. Now, from now onwards. And why has Narada chosen to take it now onwards? Now onwards means he wants to say that there is never a time which is other than now. Now is the best time for a person who is a Jignasu Bhakta, who wants to know about Ishvara. Nothing like now. And therefore, for those serious Bhaktas, Bhakti is a very, very committed, serious connection between the Bhakta and the Upasya Devata. That is between the person, the one who is the Upasaka and the Upasya Devata. Now, what is the meaning of this? It means that it is not something which is a very temporary thing or that which is only meant for some kind of a beneficial relationship. It is a serious relationship between the Bhakta and the Upasyam, that is that which is worship. And here, as I said, Narada is talking about that Parabhakti. In the introduction and in the last session also, I explained clearly that different levels of bhakti are talked about. I wouldn't say different types of bhakti, different levels of bhakti. There may be a time when a bhakta connects to Ishvara with only the intention of gaining something or getting out of a very, very difficult situation. Or it may be something where a person is connecting to that Upasya Devata as though that Upasya Devata may be Krishna or Rama or any deity that I take. In the Eka Rupa Ishvara Bhakti, where a person takes that particular form of Ishvara as a very close family member. But here, in this entire Narada Bhakti Sutra, Narada is not talking about Apara Bhakti, Abheda Bhakti. What is the meaning of Abheda Bhakti? I am the worshipper. O Lord Krishna, you are the worshipped. Then that is not the bhakti that is being talked about by Narada here. He is talking about what is called as the Abheda Bhakti or Para Bhakti. What is this Abheda Bhakti or Para Bhakti? Where the Upasaka does not see any difference between himself or herself and the deity in which form he or she is connecting to Ishvara. A time comes in the life of every bhakta where the bhakta realizes that worshipping one particular form, I am restricting Ishvara to one name and form. And gradually, the bhakti has to mature. Even according to Bhagavad Gita, it is like that. Bhagwan Krishna talks about Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti, Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakti, and also Abheda Bhakti or Para Bhakti. Now, what is meant by Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti? I said that, we discussed last time. That means I connect to Ishvara in my Ishtadevata form. Right now, I am not able to connect to Ishvara as the whole. I am not able to connect to Ishvara as the Samashti. Nor am I able to see Ishvara as that Brahman, Nirguna, Nirakara, Nirvikara, Ishvara as that I am not able to. So, initially, for a long period of time, bhakti means a connection between the worshipper and Saguna Ishvara. Ishvara in one form or the other. And as the Mumukshu progresses in his spiritual journey, the Mumukshu expands his vision, matures from Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti to Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakti. And then he becomes a jignasu as to knowing what exactly Ishvara is. Now, I want to tell you something that initially a karma yogi is also a bhakta, naturally. Why? Karma yogi is offering whatever is done, whatever karma is done, the karma is being offered to Ishvara. What Ishvara here? As my Devata, as my Ishta Devata. As a Karma Yogi also I am a Bhakta. And as a Karma Yogi, as my Bhakti matures, as my Ragadveshas dilute, as I start offering all my actions, not only Vaidika karmas, even my Laukika karmas, everyday actions also, when I start offering to the Lord, slowly I start understanding that this Ishvara that I'm connecting to is not only in one form. For my alambanam, for my convenience, I took up one form of Ishvara and became a bhakta, and that Ekarupa Ishvara became an altar of my offering, all the karmas. And the altar from which I received the prasada of karma phala. And gradually, as the bhakta matures spiritually, he starts understanding that the whole universe is nothing other than Ishvara's manifestation. And as a karma yogi, whatever he offers, even his day to day activities, laukika karmas, he starts offering to that Vishwarupa Ishvara. Simultaneously, there is a jignasa in the mind of this Ishvara to find out what this Ishvara is. What is this? Yes, I saw Ishvara as my Ishtadevata, Rama or Krishna. I offered all my actions, received the prasada as Rama prasada or Krishna prasada. And then over a period of time, I start seeing that nothing in this universe is working without the hand, unseen hand of that something. And this Ekarupa Ishvara, like Krishna or whoever it is not one small name and form, but this form is nothing but the very total. And my Krishna or Rama is actually manifesting as the entire universe, as the samashti, as the total. And there comes a jignasa, a desire to know what is this Ishvara ultimately. What is this Ishvara? How is it that the whole world, how is it non-different from Ishvara? How is Ishvara actually controlling the Jiva and the Jagat? Is there really any difference between me and Ishvara? I want to know. I want to know what that Ishvara is. Now, this kind of a jignasa over a period of time, what happens? This mumukshu, this jignasu, goes into the study of Shastra with the help of a guru. And ultimately, like what Lord Krishna says in the 12th chapter, the final stage, he said, Jnani tu. That Jnani is a Parama Bhakta. Okay? He is most loved by me because he is Atma Eva Mama. That is what is called as the Parabhakti. That is what is called as the Abheda Bhakti. Abheda Bhakti means what? There is no difference. Even in Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakti, there is a subtle distance or difference between me and Ishvara. And I say, I am offering it to the Vishwarupa Ishvara. But in Parabhakti or Abheda Bhakti, what I am seeing is, what I am understanding is that I am that Atma Swarupa behind this individual upadhi, and Ishvara is nothing but the same Atma, Brahman with the total upadhi. So there is no bheda between Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva, Ishvara, Abheda, understanding, Jnanam, Vijnanam of Jiva Ishvara Abheda is called as Parabhakti. That is what the second verse is saying. The second sutra is saying, Satu Asmin Parama Prema Rupa. Parama means what? Paraprema Rupa. Paraprema means what? Abheda Rupa. Satu. Sa means that bhakti. Tu, inevitably, asmin, Ishvare, Paraprema Swarupa. Absolute oneness. That oneness I see. That is the culmination of love or bhakti. When you love somebody prema, it is said that there are different hues of prema also, isn't it? That's why we see that no relationships are actually permanent in this world. I love you, I say. What is it? We see all relationships there for some time. Love between brothers, love between siblings, love between, spouses. What is that love that we see? I love you so much. I love you forever. And in fairy tales we heard, then they lived happily ever after. But what do we see in this world? That thing which we call as prema, that thing which we call as love, that love is something which evokes a certain amount of pleased person in me. That's why Upanishads say there is nothing called as love. There is nothing called as a love between two jivas. That love between two jivas is always temporary. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a samvada, there is a dialogue between the Guru, the husband Yajnavalkya, and the Shishya, the wife Maitreyi, where Yajnavalkya is saying, okay, Nava are patyuhu kamaya patihi priyam bhavati, patihi priyah bhavati, atmanastu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati. That means what? Husband really is not what gives you really, for the sake of the husband you don't love. Atmanastu kamaya. In our daily routine vyavaharik language, love means that which gives me happiness, that which makes me pleased, I love that. So much so, Yajnavalkya says, Rishi Yajnavalkya Guru says, there is nothing like unconditional love. We say no, between parents and children, there is unconditioned love. Our Shastra says, even that love, it may be the highest form of, interhuman love between a parent and a child, especially between the mother and the child. But that also is really not paraprema. As long as my child fulfills my desires, fulfills my demands, as long as my child gives me a feeling of a pleased sense in me, the pride in me that this is my child, till then, priyaha bhavati. Supposing we have a child who's constantly a source of trouble, constantly a source of misery, the parents may look after that child. The parents may not abandon that child, but that love, what we say, it's really not there, even for the sake of the children also. Okay? Putra kama, there is no, love. That's what he says. There's nothing called as unconditional love. Unconditional love means parabhakti. Parabhakti means what? I see everything as myself, Atma. When the mother or the father is having this knowledge that this Atma, I am Atma, Brahma, it is the same Atma in my child as here, then only I can really love that other person. That is Parabhakti. Ishvara also. Ishvara is not somebody who pleases me by fulfilling my demands. No. I understand that in spite of all my problems, in spite of all my tribulations and trials in life, Ishvara is the ultimate. I am not different from Ishvara. Ishvara may be karma phala data, but Ishvara does not decide my prarabdha. I have decided my prarabdha as the jiva because of my karmas of my previous lives, and in this life, Ishvara only is the distributor of karma. He is not responsible for the karma phala that I am going through. The karma phala that I am going through is my own making. But that karma phala which belongs to me has reached me and coming to me, that is Ishvara's law of karma. And that is where Ishvara is called as karma phala data, through his law of karma. Therefore, what is Satu Asmin Parama Prema Swarupa or Parama Prema Rupa or Paraprema Rupa? When I don't see any difference between me, the real me, Atma, and everything else in this world, I see the whole universe as me. When I see myself in the whole universe, when I see my own children as nothing but Ishvara's manifestations, and that my children need not please me though they are born out of me. My husband need not please me though he's married me. These relationships are meant to work out my prarabdha. And I may not be always pleased by these relationships. And if my prema is, I love you as long as you please me in all aspects, as long as you evoke that pleased self in me, I love you, care for you. As long as you evoke that displeased sense in me, then I really don't love you. I may tolerate you, but I don't love you. Therefore, all the human relationships, Upanishads say this, difficult to understand. Many times we say, oh, do you mean to say a mother's love for a child is conditional? May not be as conditional as other relationships, but ultimately that is also conditional. That is also conditional. Therefore, yes, there is a sense of protection. There is a sense of this maternal instinct, even in the animals, to protect the young. But when the mother realizes that young one cannot be protected anymore, the mother just leaves and goes. We have seen in wildlife when a tiger mother realizes that the cub is incapable of surviving, she just leaves the cub and walks away because she knows. A monkey tries to save its drowning young one, but when she realizes that the water is coming even up to her nose, it seems the monkey also leaves the young one and jumps out, tries to go away. Therefore, ultimately it is said, Satu Asmin Parama Prema Rupa means what? Bhakti is ultimately the Abheda, the understanding of Abheda between Jiva and Ishvara. Asmin means Ishvare. Not in Asmin, not in this Jagat. Asmin in this world, no. Asmin Ishvare Parama Prema Rupa. Okay? It is Parama Prema Rupa. Para Prema Rupa. That which is indivisible, that which is inseparable, that which sees no difference between me and each other. Now, you may question, how do you say so? The sutra only says, Sa Bhakti tu Asmin Ishvare Parama Prema Rupa. How do you say Parama Prema Rupa is only a Bheda Bhakti? It could be Bheda Bhakti also. Like what kind of is it? What kind of it could be a Bheda Bhakti. But then here, the next sutra confirms that what Narada is talking in the second sutra is about Abheda Bhakti and not Bheda Bhakti. So the third sutra say, Amrita Swarupa. See, Amrita Swarupa. That bhakti which is of the nature of immortality. What gives me immortality? We have already seen all these years in Vedanta. What is immortality? Understanding that I am the immortal Atma. Correct? As long as I identify myself with the Anatma, which is immortal, then I become a bhakta who's also identifying with the upadhi of Ishvara. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Initially, I need a name and form. I need an upadhi to hold on to. Like a person who says, I have to go to the temple to offer my bhakti. Here, the bhakta does not understand that Ishvara is everywhere, but Ishvara is in a temple also. My Rama or my Krishna, yes, this Krishna or Rama or Hanuman is this temple, no doubt. But he is Samashti Ishvara. But for me, going to this temple, this form is something I can hold on to till I understand that everywhere I see in this universe, it is nothing but Rama Rupam eva, my Krishna Rupa eva, my Hanuman Rupa eva. Everything that is here is Ishvara Swarupa. Everything that, every leaf that I see, every tree here I see is nothing but Rama only. I start seeing my Ishta Devata in everything I see in the world. That is Vishwarupa Bhakti. And at that time, what happens? My strong connection or dependence on the name and form starts coming down. When I see the whole universe as my Rama's manifestation, slowly I see the spirit or the content or the Atma called as Rama everywhere or Krishna everywhere. Slowly, the name and form which limits Ishvara also starts slowly diluting. So then ultimately what happens? I see that I am that upadhi-less Atma. This upadhi is incidentally connected with me. Similarly, Rama upadhi is incidentally connected with Ishvara. Krishna upadhi is incidentally superimposed on Ishvara. Any devata you take, we have hundreds of devatas, deities, whose name and form you can impose, we can project upon Ishvara and worship. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. But what is the meaning of Parabhakti? What is the ultimate bhakti? That is what is called by Lord Krishna as the highest level of bhakti, where Parabhakta, Jnani Bhakta tu mama Atma eva, me priyaha, sarve yete udaraha. He says all the four bhaktas are great. Who? Artha Bhakta is also great. Artharthi Bhakta is also great. Jignasu Bhakta is also great. But Jnani Bhakta mama Atma yeva sa yeva me priyaha. He is priya to me. He is the one who is most loved by me because he is a Parabhakta. Parabhakta. Another question comes here. You may say that so many santas have gone by, whether you take Tukaram or Nyandev or Mirabai or Surdas or Tulsidas or whoever it is. What kind of bhaktas were they, you may ask? They were all parabhaktas. They were all abheda bhaktas. But for the sake of people around them, they did, identify with a certain form. You take Gondavlekar Maharaj, he'll talk about Rama. But listen to his lectures, there's nothing but Abheda Bhakti in his lectures. Nothing but Abheda Bhakti. He says, everything is Rama. Nothing happens without Rama. Rama is me. I am not different from Rama. You listen to Mirabai's songs, you see. Every song of Mirabai's you take, there is no doubt, there is, the description of Murali Dhara, Govardhana Giridhara, all that is there. Okay? But ultimately, there are so many lines in Mirabai's thing where very clearly there is this Nirguna Bhakti or Parabhakti is mentioned. Tulsidas, Nirguni Bhajans. Kishore, sorry, what am I saying? Kabir Das. Kabir Das. What about his Nirguni bhajans? So many. You find that they were all parabhaktas, but they could come down to the level of the common man and talk to them in their own terms. And many times, for a bhakta who was still seeing Ishvara as one individual form, they talk to him in that form. Purandar Dasa. How many, hundreds of Devarnamas praising the forms of the Lord. But how many songs are there which are talking about the formless Ishvara? Okay. Ni mayayolago, mayayu ninnolago. Are you in Maya or is Maya in you? Okay. Like that, so many. I can't remember them offhand. So many Nirguni Bhajana. Nirguna, every bhakta. Simple. I always love to listen to this Krishna Janmashtami Bhanti, which we, listen. You have to just go a little deeper and understand that how much of Nirguna Tattva is there in each of those compositions. In each of those compositions. You take Surdas, you take any of, they were all Parabhaktas. All the Santavani that has come, whether it is from Maharashtra, from Karnataka, or from any other place, they were all, whether you take Tyagaraja or anybody, they were all Parabhaktas. They were all people who were Jnani Bhaktas. But they chose to sing the praises of Lord only to, stimulate, to make a common man go towards bhakti. They did not create any buddhi bheda. Buddhi bhedam na janayet, Lord Krishna said. None of these saints wanted to tell the bhaktas, look, your bhakti is not worth it. Okay, you must become a abheda bhakta. They never said that. Okay, you worship your Rama. Include that Rama in every activity of yours every day. Bring Ishvara more and more into your life. Initially, it starts with, yes, Anusmaranam. Our Pujya Swamiji always says, you do the japa, smaranam, puja, everything. But then Anusmaranam. That form of Ishvara, which I am connecting to as an alambanam, is always with me. And slowly, that bhakti associated with the form starts making my mind mature enough, my drishti mature enough to see the whole universe as the manifestation. And then ultimately, I'm able to see that same form as Chidrupi Paradevata Bhagavati Shri Rajarajeshwari. First 3 lines of our Rajarajeshwari Ashtakam talking about all the physical aspects of the form. But the last line, Chidrupi, that Rajarajeshwari is nothing in spite of all these, wonderful form, explanation of the wonderful form. Ultimately, who is that Rajarajeshwari? Chidrupi. Take Lalita Sahasranam. All the, things are talked about her physical appearance, where she stays, how her hair is, what is she's wearing on her head, from head to toe. The Sthula Rupa is explained. Sukshma Rupa in the mantra form is explained. Then there are hundreds of namas which are talking about the very Swarupam of Lalita Devi. Nirmoha, Nirmama, Nishkrodha, Nirvikara. How many are there? How many forms? So many forms, not forms in the form of Nirguna Parabhakti. Therefore, here he says, Amrita Swarupacha. What can give you Amritam or immortality? Bheda Bhakti cannot give you. Bheda Bhakti can give you at the most higher lokas. Lokaishana may be satisfied. Putraishana may be satisfied. Vittaishana may be satisfied. Okay. I do so many pujas for the sake of this. I do the sankalpa for the sake of this. I want this. I want this for the sake of this. Therefore, idam karishe, idam japam karishe, naturally for material benefits. Then a time comes, Parameshwara Prityartham, for the grace of the Lord. Yes, I still do the Devi Anushtanam as Devi, different from me, but for what? Parameshwara Prityartham, or for Devi's Priti, for the grace of Devi, for the grace of Ishvara. And how does that grace come? What is that grace? Ultimately, that grace matures and takes the bhakta to higher levels where the bhakta is able to see the whole universe as nothing but Ishvara, and ultimately every name and form that behind which that consciousness existence is nothing but Ishvara. This is what is called as Amrita Swarupa. That bhakti ultimately gives me that Amritatvam. Amritatvam is by what? By knowledge only, by nothing else. That is why Yajnavalkya's Shishya, wife Maitreyi, asked Yajnavalkya when he left, dividing his, all his resources and property between his two wives, and he said, I am going in search of Amritatvam. Maitreyi asked him, see, all that you have given me, is it going to give me Amritatvam? What did Yajnavalkya say? No. This money or vittam is only going to give you comforts in life. That's all. But this is not going to give you Amritatvam. Then Maitreyi says, if what you are going after or what you are going out for, as for Nididhyasanam, what you are leaving us and going for, that Amrita Swarupa or for that immortality, leaving behind all this which doesn't give you Amritatvam, even I don't want it. I want that which gives me Amritatvam, which you know. You know what gives Amritatvam. And therefore, I want to know that which gives me Amritatvam. And that unfolds as a beautiful dialogue between the Guru husband Yajnavalkya and the Shishya wife Maitreyi as Yajnavalkya Maitreyi Samvada. It comes twice in Brihadaranyaka where Yajnavalkya says, nothing can give you Amritatvam except Abheda Drishti. This Abheda Drishti, Abheda Jnanam is also called as Bhakti. Jnanam is also Bhakti. Karma Yoga is Bhakti. Upasana Yoga is Bhakti. Jnana Yoga is Bhakti. And that knowledge, Jnanam, Vijnanam is called as Parabhakti. The Jnani is called as Parabhakta. So that Abheda Bhakti is Amrita Swarupa. Amrita Swarupa. That Bhakti which ultimately gives me means what? Gives me Amritatva means what? Makes me understand that I am the Amrita Swarupa Atma. I am that Atma which is na jayate, na mriyate. Nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha ajao nitya shashvato yam purana. Na hanyate. I am that Atma. And what is Bhagwan? What is Ishvara? Same thing. That Atma. The only difference is what? This Upadhi is limited. Bhagwan's Upadhi is limitless. Limitless. And that limitless Upadhi can do anugraha on me. That limitless Upadhi, Ishvara, has the anugraha power. See, I'll ask you something. Even we, in our own small way, we have some anugraha power. Okay, I'll tell you how. Supposing I see a small animal on the road which is struggling with something. Okay, it's injured or something. What can I do? I can pick it up and lay it in a safe place. Now that much of, anugraha capacity I also have, isn't it? But what is my anugraha capacity? Very, very less. A small ant is struggling to get out of a small pond of water. Okay. I see that. I have that capacity. No, I have that grace or anugraha capacity where I pick up that ant and keep it on the land so that it goes. So, like this, what is Ishvara's capacity of grace? Immeasurable. Mine is a very limited, small, measurable, where I can help somebody else in some way, in a small way to get out of a situation. But ultimately, Ishvara's capacity for grace, for anugraha, is something unlimited. That is why we say that, when I see Ishvara's unlimited grace, I'm able to tap. Then, when I understand that Ishvara Swarupa is Atma Eva, my Swarupa is also Atma Eva. Jiva Ishvara Bheda is not there. Aham Brahmasmi, this knowledge is the ultimate bhakti. That's what Narada Bhakti Sutra is trying to say. Narada Bhakti Sutra is not talking about Bheda Bhakti. It is not talking about Artha Bhakta, Artharthi Bhakta. Narada Bhakti Sutras are talking pure Vedanta. They are talking about Jignasu Bhakta, Jnani Bhakta. So, Amrita Swarupacha. This bhakti means this jnanam is of the nature of immortality. A bhakta with this abheda bhakti is immortal. Body is not immortal. Body is not. Even when Lord Krishna came as an avatara, Lord Krishna's body, the upadhi, did not last. Lord Krishna's body also had a date of birth, and Lord Krishna's body also had a date of death, date of disappearance. Rama also, maybe 10,000 years Rama lived and ruled over Ayodhya. Lord Krishna probably lived for 200 years or 300, whatever it is. But Lord Krishna's body, as Krishna's body, even that body had to disappear. So what is the meaning of Amrita Swarupa? This Parabhakti is Amrita Swarupa. Can you say Artha Bhakti is Amrita Swarupa? No. By just asking Bhagwan, Trahimam, Pahimam, do I get Amritatvam? No. I will get that temporary relief from whatever I am going through. A Jignasu Bhakta who sees, who knows that this whole universe is Ishvara. And in what way is this universe different from me? There also a small amount, a thin line of division is there. But Parabhakti is Amrita Swarupacha. Jnani tu Priyaha, me Priyaha, Mama Atma Eva. So it is, this bhakti is Amrita Swarupa. Now, in the next 3 verses, Narada gives the phalam of this bhakti. Just see the phalam. When you read the phalam of this bhakti, you know that Narada is talking about Parabhakti as the very jnanam itself. Therefore, Narada Bhakti Sutra is a Vedanta Grantha. Okay, it is a Vedanta Grantha. Though it comes in Bhagavatam, it is a Vedanta Grantha, where bhakti in the form of Parabhakti is talked about, Abheda Bhakti is talked about, because in the Sutra 4, Sutra 5 and Sutra 6, what is being talked about is the phalam of this bhakti, Amrita Swarupa Bhakti. So what is the phalam of Amrita Swarupa Bhakti? Amritatvam. Correct? Huh? Parama Prema Rupa. Now, in the second sutra, Narada said, Parama Prema Rupa Asmin, Ishvare Parama Prema Rupa. Now, what is that Parama Prema Rupa? I should not get confused. Therefore, in the third verse, Narada said, Satu Sa Amrita Swarupa Cha. It is not merely love. It is Amrita Swarupa. That which gives me Amritatvam. That bhakti which makes me understand my immortal nature as Atma. And that bhakti is nothing but jnana. Nothing but jnana. That is why in, Vedanta, every step of a mumukshu's sadhana is called as bhakti. There cannot be a bhakti, there cannot be anything without bhakti, without commitment. Bhakti merely means a connection between me and Ishvara, a relationship between me and Ishvara, different grades, different levels of closeness. And when I become closer and closer and closer, this connection becomes more and more and more committed becomes. I understand at the end that really speaking, there is no difference between me and Ishvara. That is the ultimate bhakti, Parama Prema Swarupa, Amrita Swarupa. Now, what is the phalam of this? Now, Sutra 4, we'll see the Sutra 4. Yallabdva puman siddho bhavati, amrito bhavati, tripto bhavati. Isn't this like any other mantra of an Upanishad, which we have seen so far? We have seen Kathopanishad, we have seen Mundakopanishad, we have seen Kaivalyopanishad. Isn't it like, like Kathopanishad, and also in Ishavasya, Sir, where is the moha? Ekatvam anupashyataha ka moha ka shokaha. Where is the shoka? Where is the moha? Where is depression for such a person? So he says the phalam is yallabdva. Here it is no longer the sutra. Here it becomes like a shloka. That's why Narada Bhakti Sutras are, strictly speaking, they are not totally sutras. Many of them are in the sutra form, but many of them are in the sentence form also. The first three sutras were really in the sutra form, but now fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, we will find that they are in the form of a verse. He says, Yallabdva, having got which, means what? Bhakti. Okay, that bhaktim labdva, yallabdva. Got means what? Having understood what that bhakti is. Puman, this sadhaka, or this mumukshu, or this jnani. What happens? Siddho bhavati. He becomes a siddha. What is the meaning of siddha? Atma is siddham. It is not a sadhyam. For all the other levels of bhakti, bhakti becomes the sadhanam and the phalam becomes the sadhyam. Correct? Bhakti becomes the sadhanam. I want to do this particular thing, Hoye Rama. I want to do 1 koti japa Shri Ram Jai Ram for the sake of this. So that japa becomes the sadhana, bhakti becomes the sadhana, sadhyam becomes whatever I have asked for. Correct? But in Parabhakti, what happens? The Parabhakti, sadhaka and sadhya are not different from each other. So, there is no sadhana, there is no sadhya. Bhakti is where I have understood my reality. I am none other than Ishvara. Ishvara is not different from me. That is the understanding. That is the siddhi. Okay? Sadhana, sadhya, vilakshana bhakti. That bhakti which is Nishkama Bhakti, which has led me to ultimately understanding the oneness, the abhedam between me and Ishvara, such a jnani, he is no longer a sadhaka, siddho bhavati. Siddhaha, the one who has accomplished what had to be accomplished. Not accomplished material gains, accomplished the understanding. The real understanding, accomplished the real nature of myself. I am that Ishvara iti, when I have clearly understood myself, I am Ishvara. Aham Ishvaraha asmi, aham Brahmaha asmi, iti, when I have understood, that is the Siddhi. Atma is the Siddha Vastu. I don't have to get it, I have to know it. I don't have to do anything to know myself as the Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Sakshi Chaitanya Ahamasmi iti. To understand, I need to know. I don't need to do anything. Therefore, this Parabhakti ultimately is what? Aham Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Sakshi Chaitanya Ishvaraha Brahmaha Asmi. This knowledge is the Siddhi in itself, not the Ashta Siddhi Navanidike Data. No, that is there. And Jnani may become a Siddha in that way also. You know, Animadi Siddhis, Anima, Mahima, Garima, Lagima, Apti, Vyapti, Ishitvam, and what is that? All those things are there. Vashikaranam, Vashitvam, all those are there. Siddhis are there. I can go from here to there. I can have siddhis over the panchabhutas of my body, and I can adjust them, and I can fly from one place to other. I can appear in multiple places. Siddhis are there. Not that we are denying, but this particular thing which is being talked about as the knowledge of the oneness between me and Ishvara, that is the ultimate highest siddhi. Sadhana sadhya vilakshana siddhi. A jnani may be a siddha. He may have lots of powers, but it need not be. A person who has got many powers need not be a jnani. A jnani who has power, he may have powers, but he never claims that they are my powers. He never claims. It seems you must have heard of Siddharuda Swami of Hubli. It seems he used to appear in many places whenever, when he was called really. People have seen him appearing and helping them out. And when they told him, Swami, Ayya, we saw you there, you came and helped. It seems he used to say, it is your Bhranti. It is your own projection. I know I was not I was here only. I didn't go anywhere. So, a jnani may have siddhis, but he never claims that they are his siddhis. It may happen automatically. At the same time, there may be jnanis who do not have any siddhis. Siddhis do not decide whether a person is a jnani or not. We must very clearly understand that. Siddhis are not a identification of a parabhakta or a jnani. If it is there, he knows when to use and when not to use. And he never makes an exhibition of his powers. A jnani always knows that this is temporary. This is something which is Ishvara's grace. Ishvara is doing it through me. I am not the doer. Iti, the jnani knows. And there are many jnanis who may not have any of such things, but at the same time, they are siddhas. Therefore, a jnani is also called as siddha. Isn't it? We have seen that sthita prajnaha, siddho bhavati. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna said so many times, siddha. Okay, so what is sthita prajna, buddha, jnani bhakta, parabhakta, siddha. All these are the names for a jnani. So sacha jnani siddho bhavati. He has attained whatever had to be attained. He understands, he has known, he has come to know whatever is to be known. Krita krityaha. That means whatever had to be done has been done. Whatever is to be known is known. Such a person who understands himself to be the sadhana sadhya vilakshana atma chaitanya aham atma brahma asmi, he is a siddha. Siddhi and siddha are the words used for various things. But the real ultimate meaning of siddha is a jnani. The ultimate meaning of siddhi is this understanding, aham brahma asmi, aham ishvara asmi. Amrito bhavati. Next, yadladva puman siddho bhavati, amruto bhavati, immortal. He does not become immortal. He understands that I have always been immortal. I, as the Atma, was never born. I never appeared. I'm never going to disappear. I'm not going to have any Shadvikaras at all. This understanding that I am the Amrita Swarupa Atma, I'm not the mortal body. I think of myself as a mortal individual now. Why? Because I'm identifying myself with the body. That's why I feel I'm mortal. But I'm not. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The body is mortal. I, the Atma, the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, is immortal. Amruto bhavati means here, bhavati means now I am. I am immortal. I was immortal earlier. As an Ajnani also, I was immortal. As a Jnani also, I am immortal. The only difference is, I as an Ajnani did not know about it, and I got identified myself with the body mind sense complex, and the Jivatvam became a reality for me, and I came back again and again and again and suffered the same samsara. But as a Jnani, I am the same immortal being, but now the difference is I have understood it. And therefore, I am no longer identified myself with the body. Now I know my reality, my swarupam. Aham amrita atma asmi. Tripto bhavati ananda atma. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmani eva atmana tushtaha. Tripto bhavati. He does not require anything to make him happy. This parabhakta or this parabhakti's phalam is Atma Ramaha, Atmaratihi, Atmakridaha, reveling in that very source of happiness, Ananda Swarupa Atma. Triptaha, there is no atripti, Purnatvam, there is no question of any kind of a wanting in such a person. No wanting. Totally abiding in the Tripta Swarupa Atma. Absolutely nothing. Wanting nothing. Tripto bhavati, amrito bhavati, siddho bhavati. Then this is the positive he has been. Now in the next sutra, in the 5th sutra, Narada talks about the negative, what he loses or what drops from him. In the 4th sutra, I said, Yallabdva. Having got this, he realizes that he is a Siddha, he is a Tripta, and he is a Amrita Swarupa. In the next verse, all the things which were his misunderstandings, they completely disappear. The negatives or incompleteness, atripti, immortality, bhaya, shoka, moha, everything disappears. Okay? Shoka, moha, vigata shokaha, vigata mohaha, vigata vitaraga bhaya krodaha, sthitadir muniruchyate. That's what he's saying now in the 5th verse. Yat prapya na kinchid vanchati, na shochati, na dveshti, na ramate, na utsahi bhavati. See? Na. Here. The first word was what? Siddho bhavati. That is 4th verse. All positive. You know, the very nature of the Siddha. The very nature of the Jnani. Now, yaprapya na kinchid vanchati. He has no atripti, doesn't want anything. Na shochati, no sorrow. Na dveshti, no hate. Na ramate, not wanting anything to fulfill him. Na utsahi bhavati, not interested in running after things anymore. We'll take it up in detail in the next session. Nandantu sadhaka sarve vinashyantu vidushakaha avastha shambhavi mestu prasannostu guru sada sarve bhavantu sukhinaha sarve santu niramayaha sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukham apnuyat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat.